Welcome to your full body workout, volume number 7. If I had confetti and balloons right now, I would definitely let those go up because this is the final day of your full week of training with me. So hopefully you're excited for our day 7 workout today. We're going to start with our warm up and then as always go into our workout. I look forward to really challenging you with your movements today from everything we learned from day number 1. So let's get started. We're going to start with a warm up. Our first warm up is a jog pace. So we're going to pretend like we're jogging. Now, for those that know, we follow along with my script down here on the floor. So you will see me looking down, all right? So let's jump into it. We're going to start with our jog. So what we want to do with this movement is just bring our knees up as if we're marching. So everything you need to know about performing a jog is all about pace. You want to get your heart rate up with this exercise. So as you're moving your arms, swinging them side to side, focus on bringing your knees up as high as you can. We're going to do this for 20 seconds. For those who can, you can bring your knees up higher towards your chest to warm up your muscles of your legs and then also the muscles of your core as you're bracing your abs. So let's keep this going for about 15 more seconds. And break. Let's dive into our second warm-up. Our second warm-up is arm circles. These might seem simple, but I promise you at the end of this time, you're gonna notice that your shoulders are burning. You don't need any weight, all you need is body weight. So everything you need to know about how to perform an arm circle is all about your stance. Go ahead and bring your legs out to a straddle position. Keep your chest up, arms out like a letter T, and we have big circles forward. We're going to keep this going for 15 seconds. And rest. Our third exercise, or our third stretching exercise, is our squat to kick. Now, this is probably the most challenging warm-up movement. We're going to combine a basic squat into a high kick or a karate kick. So this is going to test your mobility. Everything you need to know about performing a squat to high kick. When you do this movement, the first thing is, as you can guess, understanding how to do a squat. So our feet are hip distance, arching our lower back, pushing our chest forward. This is going to give us a neutral posture, a neutral spine with really good posture. From there, we want to sit down into that imaginary chair, shift our body weight to one side, go into a karate kick. In my mind, I said, hiya. So we're going to go into that karate kick, coming back down into that squat. Now, I want you to alternate these movements. Squat to a kick. And that's how you do a squat to a high kick. Let's keep this movement going. We have 15 seconds. All right, so now that the thighs are warmed up, we have one more round. We're going to start back with our first movement, which is a jog. and break. From here, going into our arm circles, feet wide, hands out, and let's go forward. And break. Last movement, and we're going to get ready to go into our workout, is our squat to kick. And rest. So at this point, the heart rate should be up, and these are stretches that are going to walk us into our workout for today. So the games begin. Go ahead and grab your water, grab your sweat towel, your mat, and we're going to get ready to go into our first circuit. And again, grab some music to put into the background to help energize you for today's training. Remember, it's day 7, so this is a celebration, so I'm excited that you made it to this point. So our first exercise we have is dumbbell swings. This mimics a kettlebell swing. We're gonna have our weights in our hands for this exercise. Everything you need to know about performing a dumbbell swing. First thing is grabbing your weights. Your weights are in your hand and your feet are wide hip distance, similar to your squat. As you squat down, you're focusing on bringing your hands out to your chest, swinging them back by your legs and back out. You're making sure your feet are wide, you're arching your lower back, and making sure that you keep your shoulders rolled back, engaging the muscles of your upper back. Go down to that squat, sitting into that chair, swing your arms to chest, come back to standing position. We're looking for no time, no reps, until your coach says break. You ready? Let's get it. And break. So we started this workout off with a powerful movement. That's legs, that is arms, and you should also feel your core if you're getting your form right, which you should. So let's dive into our second exercise, which is a chest press with our legs coming out to the side. Everything you need to know about how to do a chest press with your legs coming out to the side. With this exercise, your movement looks like this. Weight in my hand. As I extend out, my legs move with my arms, then I come back. This is all about core activation. So we're gonna aim for about 10 to 12 reps, but again, move till I say break. All right, whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So at this point, you're gonna take a quick break and let's go into the opposite leg. 3, and go. and break. So if you feel the muscles of your hips, you know you're doing this exercise right. So let's go into our third exercise. Our third exercise we have is a side squat, step out to each side with a shoulder press. So what we're gonna do is start with our feet together, focus on stepping out, pressing up as we come together. Everything you need to know about how to do a side squat, stepping out, combined with a shoulder press. Feet together, weights at your shoulder. Take a step out to hip distance. Push your hips back into that squat position. Come back together with the leg you stepped out with. Extend your arms towards the ceiling, working your shoulders, and then coming back down to the opposite side, stepping out, and then coming back in. So that's everything you need to know about a side squat step into a shoulder press. Now, let's get it. We're gonna really feel the burn on this one because it's a more challenging movement. So weights are by our side, and let's go. And break. 30-second recovery break. Get some water, whatever you have to do, stretch, chill, but don't stop moving. When you break, it's easy to just sit down and rest, but working out is all about really getting uncomfortable. It's about challenging your body, and it's also about pushing past your limits. So I challenge you to stay on your feet. You can march with me. You can do a side-to-side shuffle with your music, whatever you need to do, but don't sit down. We need 10 more seconds of a break, and then we're gonna go into our workout round number 2. This round should be better. You should be more confident with your exercises. On this round, I'm gonna be stepping out to the side and giving you your pro tips like we're on a football field. So as you're doing your movement and your exercise, you're gonna keep going while I give you your pro tips. Ready? All right, so our first exercise we have again is dumbbell swings. We're gonna start our exercise now. Pro tips when it comes to performing a dumbbell swing. It's all about the momentum of the exercise. So you're really focusing on swinging that weight towards your chest and keeping it tight as you bring it back down. So as you're bringing your arms by your thighs, stick it. You don't want to swing past your thigh. Number 2 is sit those hips back. I always use the example of sitting your hips or sitting your butt to a chair. That's what I want you to think about. If you need to grab something placed behind you to kind of aim for to help you, do that. Now we're looking for about 10 more seconds, and I want you to get lower in your squat. Yes, I see you. Get lower. Really try to get your thighs parallel to the floor. So I need you to reach for 5. And break. Good job. So don't you see how when you go lower, you feel more of a burn? So don't limit yourself. Make sure you're really doing your movements full out, nonstop. Our second exercise we have again is our chest press with our side leg raise. Again, a combination movement to target your legs, arms, and your waistline, all right? So let's go ahead and start this movement out. Weights are by our shoulders, and we're pushing away from our chest, bringing our leg in and out. Keep this exercise going. Here is your pro tip for performing a chest press with your legs going out to the side. As you do this movement, I want you to point your toe towards your face. So if this is my foot here, I'm going to flex my foot or flex at the ankle. That's gonna help me activate these babies here, the legs, the thighs, right? Which is part of our toning. So make sure your toes are pointing towards your chest, not your chest, pointing towards your face, which I guess is the same thing. So when you do this too, make sure you're keeping your posture good. If you find yourself having to lean, that weight is too heavy, and I want you to bring the weight down a little bit. Keep this going for 5 and break. Now remember, we gotta do both sides. These are unilateral movements, which is great for working our stabilization muscles or our stabilizers within our body, which is the muscles around the hips, protects the joint. So let's go ahead and jump into this one, pushing out and pulling in. And break. Now, here's my question for you. Which leg are you feeling in this movement? If the answer is both, you're doing this right. You should feel the leg, the stabilizing leg, which is the leg that you're standing on, and you should feel the leg that's moving in and out. And you're gonna probably feel different muscle groups that are being activated with that stabilizing leg. You're feeling more of your calves, your hamstrings, and your quads. But that leg that's moving in and out, you are definitely gonna be feeling that side glute, okay? So let's go into our next exercise, which is our side squats, right? And we're performing a shoulder press. Are you ready? Feet together, weights up, and go. Keep this exercise going. So at this point of the workout, you're gonna notice that it's more challenging. And this is when I need you to dig deep, right? And push through this workout, because you got it. It's all about trying to get these results and getting our body healthy. Your pro tip when doing a side squat into a shoulder press is all about making sure you're keeping your width distance when it comes to your footing or your feet. 1 or 2. Make sure you keep your distance. So I see people start this exercise where they squat very close and they get mixed up with the movements. So really think about squatting with a wide stance, coming up, and then taking a big step out. Make sure you're really thinking about the width distance between your legs. Keep going, don't get tired on me. We have about 10 more seconds. And break. At this point, you can get a water break. You just conquer circuit number 1, but remember, we have 3 circuits. So let's chill for a second and come back to attack our next circuit. We have 15 seconds left, and at this point, you should still be moving with me. Again, you're not sitting down in the chair right now. You're grabbing water and you're getting your momentum to go to the next level of this workout today. Ask your body how you feel. How am I feeling, right? If you feel lightheaded, dizzy, you always know to stop, catch your breath, pause, and join me. But if you can push through, let's push through. We have 5 seconds. Our first exercise is a static squat. You guys know what that word means, right? Our static movements, that means we're holding, we're frozen. Static squat with a bicep curl. Here's everything you need to know about how to perform a static squat and a bicep curl. The first part is getting your foot placement, which is hip distance. Pushing your hips back into that chair, keeping your chest tall and shoulders back. We're coming down into that squat with our arms extending between our legs. I'm using the inside of my thighs as a lever. So I want to think about a concentrated curl, which is a movement which you use your legs to keep your elbow fixed in the movement. So our palms are open and we're curling. Go ahead and start this exercise out holding that squat. And this is everything you need to know about a static squat and a bicep curl. So our thighs are on fire right now, but we know as we're doing this, it's getting us stronger. So hang in there. We have a few more seconds. And break. Whew. Now that's the way to start the second round, right? So let's go into our second movement. Shake those legs out. We have a reverse lunge with a front kick. We warmed up our kicks in our warm up, right? So you see how these movements are sneaking back into our workout. So everything you need to know about performing a reverse lunge to a high kick. Let's talk about it. First step is making sure you master your reverse lunge. I like to start with my hands on my hips for a sense of balance. I'm going to extend back with my right leg. I'm on my tippy toes, bringing that back knee down, lowering my body. My hips are tucked under. So if you watch my hip position, hips are out, that's a no-no. We need to add in our abs and squeeze our butt muscles as we go down, come up, karate chop, and back into that reverse lunge. So your movement looks like this. Straight leg as you kick forward. And that's everything you need to know about a reverse lunge and a high kick. So let's dive into this movement. If you need a chair or want to use the wall, feel free to do so. And break. Remember, since we have two legs, what we do to one side, we always do to the other. So we want to make sure we do the same thing. So we have if you follow my lead, I have my right leg in front, focusing on keeping my hips tucked, squeezing the butt, chest tall, and go. And break. So here is your Q&A. What's the best lunge to do for people with weak knees? Give you a few seconds. The best lunge, here's your answer. The best lunge for those with weak knees is reverse lunges. Forward lunges and side lunges can be a little bit complicated when it comes to those maybe like yourself who struggle with weak knees. So if we ever do lunges in our workout, regardless if it's forward, back, pendulum lunges, always resort to reverse lunges, okay? That is your pro tip when it comes to lunges. Now let's get into our next exercise. Our next exercise is a sumo squat on our toes with a frontal raise. And you're probably saying, what? Yes. Every muscle is working in this exercise and we're going to talk about it. So how to perform a sumo squat with a calf raise, lifting your arms. Let's dive into this one. What we want to focus on is a wide stance. It's almost like a sumo wrestler, right? We're getting super low. We're really working on our inner thigh mobility or our hip mobility. We're on our toes. Okay, this reminds me of the scene from Titanic. If you know the movie, you know. This is the scene where you see her actually being herself. She's dancing, right? She's a ballerina. from her past. So she's doing this movement, she goes up on her tippy toes, you know. So it's a great movie. But let's sidetrack back to the workout. We're gonna go to our toes, work our calves, come down. Now watch my hips. I want you to not be here, tuck, and come down. If you struggle with balance, my friend, bring your feet to the floor. It's okay. But if you can challenge yourself, come up. From there, our hands are below, and we're bringing our hands to chest level. This is an inner thigh burn to like the most extreme. And this is everything you need to know about how to do a sumo squat on your toes with a frontal lift. Let's go into it. It's all about control. And break. How'd you do? Were you able to stay on your toes? If you struggled, it's okay. We have another round of this to perfect it and get better. So 30-second recovery, and come back and join me for our second round. Ten seconds left. Now our second round, again, we start at the very top, which is our bicep curl, and we're doing a static squat for this one. These are your pro tips coming up for this exercise. You ready to start? Let's go. So we want to focus on the squat, which we talked about the how-to. We're gonna go down to that squat, hands in the center, palms up, and we're curling. Your exercise starts now. Here is your pro tip when performing a static squat with a bicep curl. This movement is challenging when it comes to your hip mobility and range of motion. So one thing I highly suggest is to bring your feet out wide and turn your toes out similar to a sumo squat we did at the end of the first round. Notice it'll help open up your hips and allow the movement to feel more comfortable for you. If you struggle with lack of mobility, maybe it's your first week with me, or you just struggle with lack of hip mobility in general, keep exercising. You're going to stay high instead of getting deep into the movement and curl. Do keep your biceps or your elbows snugged by your side. Now break and breathe. I didn't forget about you, okay? So let's go into our second exercise. Catch your breath, wipe the sweat away, because we're working today. We have reverse lunge to front kick. So hands are on the hips. If you're following my lead, I'm gonna have my left leg in front and start. Here's your pro tip when performing a reverse lunge to a high kick. When it comes to this exercise, you wanna make sure that you're not having your chest lean forward. So I do not want you to find yourself lunging like this and kicking up. You see how I'm doing that? I'm just pushing my hips back. I want to keep my hips tucked under and keep my chest up. You want to make sure you're able to keep that posture in check. Your second tip with this one is to be controlled with your kicks. We don't want to force our kick or snap at our knee. If we do that, we can easily injure our knee. So while you're doing these kicks, make sure you're controlling that kick forward and break. All right, again, what we do to one, we gotta do to the other. So right leg in front and go. and break. If you felt like you were losing your balance and you felt like you're off balance with that exercise, don't beat yourself up. It's supposed to be challenging. If it's easy, like, how are we changing, right? So it's okay. Repetition is key. The more we do, the better we get, all right? So from here, we have our sumo squat, which to me is like the most spicy exercise in this group of movements, group of exercises. So let's aim to improve on this round. We're looking for a sumo squat, feet out, wide, toes turned out. Come down into that sumo squat and hold. And remember, you're moving your arms, which I did say hold, but move your arms. And break. Now I'm definitely gonna feel these thighs tomorrow, and my ankles were like trembling like a leaf on a tree. So these movements are really great because we're working not just our legs, but we're working the fine muscles of our foot, of our ankle, the ligaments and the tendon that keeps everything attached. Those are being worked and challenged, and that's all about keeping us healthy and keeping us injury free. So at this point, you have a 30-second break, and we're gonna get ready to go into our third and final round of our day 7 workout. You made it, my friend, you made it. So I want you to think about how you felt, and we have 20 seconds left, how you felt on day number 1. Day number 1 was probably a challenge, right? It's meant to be a challenge, especially when you're coming from a background of maybe not being active or sedentary lifestyle, which is basically not being active. So it should be a challenge, but see how you feel today. Are you able to keep up? Are you able to break less? Have you noticed that you're not as much out of breath? If you are noticing those positive changes, you feel stronger, that's a win, regardless of what the scale says. That's a win. So I gave you over a 30-second break, so you should be ready to dominate this last circuit. Static lunge with arms pulling out to our side. So what we want to think about this movement is a row-like motion as we're holding that static lunge. Everything you need to know about performing a static lunge with a row. We want to start with our feet together, stepping forward, making sure we have a good stride between our front and back foot. Bring that back knee down. Make sure that thigh is, when you want to think about perpendicular, this is your floor, this is that knee. We're bringing that knee down, chest and shoulders up, tucking the butt, and from there, we're bringing our hands up. We want to pull away as if we're pulling a band. If you have a band at home, throw it into your workout. And we're going to feel the muscles of our back and the muscles of our legs. Keep that chest up. That's everything you need to know about a static lunge with a row. Let's jump into this one. Left leg up front. Break and switch legs. And breathe. So that arm movement was more of a reverse fly, which I did say row. I did get ahead of myself. But if you're keeping track with me, it is a reverse fly. You can do a reverse fly line on your back. Many different directions you can do it, but we're doing it with a lunge. So let's go into our second exercise. Our second exercise is a reverse lunge to forward kick, right? So what we're gonna do with this one, we're gonna focus on stepping back, kicking our leg up. This is similar to round number 2 with a little bit of a twist. So what we're gonna do is alternate this time and challenge our balance more. So again, if you need a chair, grab a chair, hold on to, one side. You're going to step back, kick, step back with the opposite leg, and kick. So this is really going to amp up that first movement we did in circuit number 2. Ready? And go. And break. Let's go into our next exercise. So for this next movement, we're going to go into a static squat, and we're going to be holding this movement. All right, as we're holding this movement, we want to focus on our breathing. We want to focus on our focus, okay? Nothing should be in your hand for this exercise. You're just holding that squat. You ready? Feet coming out and going low into that squat. So this is everything you need to know. Everything you need to know about performing a static squat. Static squats are great for working the muscles of the thigh, and then also engages your core if you're doing your movement correctly, which you will be after this explanation. Your feet are wide to a hip distance, similar to your squats. You want to have your feet in hip, not similar to, really the same as your squats. You want to make sure that your hands are either on your thigh or you can have them out in front of your chest. So as my feet are wide, I'm coming into that squat. I'm going to hold that position. You want to avoid bouncing or swaying side to side. And that's everything you need to know about a static squat. So let's go into this exercise. You should still already be going. We have 10 minutes or 10 seconds remaining. 10 minutes is a long time, right? So hold that squat as low as you can. And rest. So let's go back into this movement again. We'll have our second round coming up. So we're starting with our bicep curls. We have started with our static lunge with arm pulls or reverse flies. So with this movement, we want to start with our left leg leading. Right leg comes back. Bringing that knee down and pull. Here's your pro tip when performing a static lunge with a reverse fly. With this exercise, you don't want to forget how low you need to be in a lunge. So when you're doing this exercise, if that back leg is straight like this, all you're doing is just stretching. We want to make sure we bend at that knee, lowering that knee to the floor. So if you feel like that knee is not too close to the floor, I want you to come down a little bit more and hang out for 5 more seconds. And break. Let's go to our opposite leg. Another pro tip when it comes to doing a reverse lunge, a static reverse lunge with reverse fly, is to make sure you have your arm positioned correctly. Notice my palms are facing one another with my elbows slightly bent. I want to keep my elbows elevated the entire time as I do this movement. So if you notice your elbows have been a little bit lazy in this exercise, pull your elbows up high and continue for 5. And break. All right, so let's take a quick chill pill. If you need to break, you go ahead and do so. But if you can push through for me, push through, okay? So let's go into our next exercise, reverse lunges. With this one, we are alternating. We're not staying on one side. Hands on your hips and go. and break. Last exercise is a static squat. So our legs are out wide and we're going down into that squat and holding. At this point, you should be doing your exercise. Here's your pro tip when performing a static squat. Your pro tip for this one is keeping your hips down low. It's easy to get tired in this exercise because it's all about endurance. It's easy to come from this posture to this posture. See how my hips elevate? I want to keep my hips pulled down and keeping my chest forward. So think about like looking at yourself in the mirror. You should be able to see yourself. You should be able to see your chest facing towards that mirror. 10 more seconds. And break. So good job. You just dominated day 7 full workout today, and you noticed that the level was picked up. So that's why we order these workouts in these volumes the way we do. So you don't want to skip around. You want to make sure you follow the program for the best results. Let's go into our cool down. Toe touches is our first stretch. Feet are together and we're rounding our back, reaching towards our feet. I want you to extend your right leg back. Push your weights that right leg, keeping that front leg, which is your left, extended forward. Straighten this leg as much as you can and hold. Stand up tall and switch. Our next stretch we have is a tricep stretch. So left arm comes across the body. With your right arm, you come underneath and pull your left arm towards your chest. Our last stretch we have is a straddle stretch. I love this one because it just really stretches out your legs and your inner thighs. And those plie squats we did on our toes, I can already feel it. So feet are wide. You're aiming your hands towards your ankles with this exercise, keeping your legs as straight as you can. And break. So good job on finishing your workout strong. Remember, the best way to get results with our program is to stay consistent every single day. And another way to get results is to make sure you're checking in with us. If you don't check in with us, how do we know how you're doing? How can we motivate you, give you coaching on areas you need to improve on, and celebrate you on areas you're doing fantastic in? Now, if you have any testimonials, if you've experienced a weight loss drop, maybe you feel like you fit into your skinny jeans and your dress a little bit better and easier, we want to hear these victories. I don't care how small you might think they are and how big they are. We care about the results you're getting with our program. So make sure you inbox us, email us, text us, let us know that you're getting results. So if you want to get in contact with us, the best way is to email us at jess@fitslay.com. Feel free to visit our websites for our workout and exercise database and also our online training and group sessions. You can visit our website at www.fitslay.com. And we'll see you very soon. Bye.